welcome to Pamnet TV Africa. My name is Pamela Muthui. We bring you yet another episode on Beyond Your Story, and this time it's a unique one. We will be interviewing Miss Bhakti Modi on her journey battling cancer and documenting it publicly. Welcome, Modi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
Yes.
Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers. Just tell us a little bit of who you are and what you do.
Sure. Firstly, thank you, Pamela, for having me here. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm Bhakti Modi, born and brought up in Nairobi, Kenya. Currently working with a multinational company. A bit on my background in terms of hobbies. I love dancing. I did Indian classical dancing for the past 13 years. Graduated and got a degree with the Kamini School of Dancing. I love to cook. I love kickboxing. I love to socialize. I love networking. I love meeting new people. And yes, I love to go on holidays.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Good to know
Yes.
you. Kindly, if you can just feel free to share with us your journey on battling cancer publicly. We have seen you on the Asian. How has that been like?
In terms of my journey, I'll start with how the actual problem happened, because there's this, I think with each individual who has battled cancer, some of them have gone through pain, some of them have not gone through pain, meaning this cancer could be in the body and they've not, they've just probably gone for a regular checkup, and at that point is when they find out that they actually have the cells active in the body. In my case, it just started with stabbing pain on my left leg. I wasn't sure what it is. I pretty much ignored it for a couple of weeks. I started limping because of all the pain that I was going through, and it was only getting worse. And finally, I decided to consult a doctor, or at least a couple of doctors, because I wasn't sure what this could be. And all the symptoms that I had were related to sciatica. So that was the first thing I was told: you have sciatica. I'd only ever heard that term, but I wasn't too sure on what exactly sciatica was. And this is an issue related to the spine, where you have a slip disc, or there's a nerve that's pressing between your two discs on the spine. And because I also had severe backaches, so we were all very convinced that it's sciatica that I have. Unfortunately, this diagnosis happened with no scans, no MRI, no CT scan, or no X-rays were done. It was just a basic understanding, and from two of the doctors that I had seen. And I was told the only way to cure sciatica is maybe exercising a few stretches, or if it's really severe, then you have to undergo a spine surgery. And unfortunately, my pain was, again, it kept on getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I decided to go to a chiropractor, where they do a lot of manipulation of the spine and your entire body. Unfortunately, that treatment did not work for me, and it reached a point from July till end of November. I had to get admitted in MP Shah Hospital, and after doing a few blood works. That's when, after doing a few CT scans and stuff, it turned out to be, the doctors thought that this could be a bone infection. And after that, I was told for osteomyelitis, you take about 8 weeks. It's an 8-week treatment plan. And if that doesn't work, then we'll see what's the way forward. So at that point, I was told not to put any weight on my left leg, because on the scan it showed a hairline fracture. So I was in a hospital for about 3 to 4 nights. And after being discharged, the pain again would only get worse and worse and worse. And I was taking quite a heavy dose of medications. When I went for my review again, turns out it wasn't a bone infection as such. There was something more to it, but nobody could figure out what this could be. But we were sure, at least at that point, that it's something to do with my hip joint, the femur bone, and we were also sure that yes, this is something that has gone and attacked the bone. So because of being in so much pain and despite of taking a lot of medications, we decided to get a second opinion from India. So planned everything, went to India on a wheelchair, straight to the hospital. Got admitted there. I was put on IVs. Just to mention, I've always had a very big phobia of needles. But I had to deal with it because I wanted to get better, I wanted to walk, and I wanted to get the diagnosis. And I was told, the doctors in India told me you will require a biopsy to be done. And obviously, biopsy is usually cancer related. So that's the first doubt that comes to the head, like why are we doing a biopsy? However, they did enlighten us and told us that there are so many different types of biopsy and not all are related to cancer, but we need to know what bacteria has gone and attacked the bone. And so on the third or fourth day of being admitted, I did a biopsy. They started ruling out every possible cause. Everything was started from scratch. And after my first CT scan of the hip joint, unfortunately, they said you will be bedridden for at least 6 months because it's not an area we can cast, and your bone has pretty much collapsed. So if you put any more weight than you have already, you're in for trouble. So I really had to, it kind of put me off. Having to think that I'm in a new country. I'm a kickboxer. I love to dance. I'm working, and having to park all that on the side and just thinking of how am I going to be in bed for 6 months was quite an emotional thing for me. But again, like while I was waiting for the diagnosis, I already started to build the strength within myself. And finally, on the 7th of December, the doctors came to the ward, and my mom and dad were with me. My partner was there as well. And they broke the news to us and said that this is what it is. You actually have a tumor on your bone, and this is between the bone and bone marrow. It took them a lot of work. Even from their side, they had to take a lot of opinions as well, retested a couple of things just to be sure that they're coming to tell us this is what it is. Primary bone lymphoma is a very rare type of cancer. They said only 2% of the people end up getting this type of cancer. But it's not impossible to treat it. There's always, if cancer is something, if it's detected at the right time, then we're lucky that at least, there's a treatment that you can immediately start. And yes, from that point, they gave us the entire treatment plan, told me that this is what's going to be required. Even if we discharge you, you'll still have to come in for your chemos and the ambulance. And radiation was supposed to be planned after. So I did 6 chemos and 25 radiation therapies. Yes.
Come from a place of just a general pain within your hip joint.
Yes.
And now we have information from the doctors that it's actually confirmed it's cancer.
Yes.
And then you began the treatment.
Yes.
And we've seen also immediately you began the treatment, you began to document on social media
Yes.
And recently we saw that the Asian Weekly covered your story. How has it been documenting, and what really caused you to begin to think of documenting publicly?
Okay. So when you get diagnosed with something that's life-threatening, you need a distraction. At that point, I really had to think what's going to be my distraction. And I know that I have a lot of friends. I really wanted them to be part of me and this journey in terms of that support system. It was helping me keep track of my journey. So those days where you feel like, oh my God, you know, I still have these many cycles remaining. Social media really helped me keep that track. Every cycle I would post about it. It was also to create awareness. It was also to educate people out there on maybe different types of cancers. There are people who get diagnosed with this who shy away from talking about it very openly. Maybe because we live in a society where, you know, you're always fearing people judging you. So I thought it's best, you know, for me that was the best platform to seek help, to get that love and support from family and friends. And rather than them having to assume on what is going on with Bhakti, I didn't want to keep anybody in that darkness. There were times where you're not able to constantly be, you know, on call or on message. But social media helped me also update everybody on what was happening. But it was more to provide strength, to show that, you know, it's okay to openly talk about something like cancer. Yes.
How did that work on you personally?
It had a positive, it had a negative. I would say 90% was positive, 10% was negative. In the sense, people would wonder, why is she really talking about, you know, what she's going through on social media? Is she trying to seek attention from people, or, you know, why be so open about all the pain that she's going through? And I realized when people are partying, when people are on holidays, when people are doing anything good that's making them happy, they would want to post that on social media, right?
Yeah.
But when somebody is going through a tough time, they don't want to talk about it. And I think I really wanted to try and change that conception. So that's why I went on social media. The positive side of it was I really got a lot of love, a lot of support. People who I'd not heard from in a very long time reached out to me. Mm-hmm. People across countries. People who were probably in nursery or primary school with me reached out to me. Did a lot of prayers. So I think all that really helped and added so much strength while I was battling while I was battling cancer.
What a story. Please keep it locked for part 2 coming Friday. Remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel at pamnetafrica.com. Like, share, and keep your comments coming. Thank you, and God bless you.